Let's start from the beginning. Recruiters. Hi everyone, welcome back. If you do not know me, my name is Rhoda Rose and welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a little different. My channel is usually about lifestyle, beauty, so. Well, this is my lifestyle. And I want to help other people who want to join, who are thinking about joining, who have any questions about joining, try to figure out their way. And on top of all of that, I got some stories, my opinions, but it's gonna be like a military edition type of thing. It's gonna be a whole little series. The whole channel won't be about this, of course. But if you wanna continue watching, comment, like, subscribe, ring that bell, big thumbs up. Let's keep it pushing. Well, for all my ladies and gents, I am in the U.S. Army. This tag right here, that's me. I joined the military when I was 18, and I did not ship off to basic until I was 19. So I enlisted, was in the delayed entry program in October, and I did not ship off to basic training until January 4th, which is my anniversary. And my birthday is December 28th. So around that time, even though my enlisted contract, I was 18, I did not physically go to basic training until I was 19. So that's that. So I've been in about 4 years, going on 5 years this upcoming January, again, anniversary. And yeah, so I'm not a first timer. I'm on my second contract. I'm in my window right now, which means I'll be able to re-enlist, get out, yada yada. And who knows what's gonna happen. But as far as, let's start from the beginning. Recruiters. Don't let recruiters lie to you. Don't do that. Talk to veterans. Talk to people that are active duty, National Guard, reserves. I wish I would have talked to everyone. I really wish I would have talked to somebody in every single category, even in different branches. I really do wish I would have talked to someone, because there's a lot of vital information that you do not know. So let's start with branches. There are different branches. There is the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and the Coast Guard, which is not with the Department of Defense. They're with the Department of Homeland Security. It's a whole nother entity and a whole nother topic. When certain things go on, they could easily not get paid. We get paid. They don't get the same benefits as we do. It's completely different. If you want to know more about that, look up the National Guard. Not National Guard. Look up the Coast Guard and what their entities entail and all that good stuff, because I know a lot about them, but I don't know enough to just do a video and speak on it. But what I will talk about is how the Army is completely different from any of other branches. Army was actually my second choice. It was not my first choice. The Air Force was my first choice, but that's not how God planned it out to be, so that's not what it is. But what I will tell you is that the biggest difference that I will tell you with the Army compared to other branches, honestly, I would say promotion. Promotion is the biggest thing why I personally feel like people choose the Army over any of the other branches. I mean, obviously the Army is easier to get into as far as the ASVAB is concerned, but a lot of people switch over. I've seen plenty of people switch over from the Air Force, from the Marines, to go to the Army, because the promotion system in the Army is pretty fast. Depending on your job, you can get promoted really fast. Excuse my Velcro. Depending on your job, you can get promoted really fast in the Army. Now, how promotion system works in the Army is very step-by-step vast, but it goes the same for everyone. but it's not the same for everyone because everyone's point systems is different depending on your job. And we will get to that. So when it comes to picking different branches, just make sure you do your research on all branches, all of them. Look at videos like this one, talk to veterans, talk to people in your family who might be in a veteran, people who are active duty, people in National Guard and reserves. Do your research before you pick a branch. Do that first. Number 2, when you go into a recruiting station, my personal advice is to go with someone that is in the military. Do that. I had a pretty good recruiter. I still talk to her to this day, actually. She was awesome. She didn't tell me any lies. She didn't do anything like that. But I can't say the same about everyone else. A lot of people have a lot of crazy recruiter stories, how they promised them this and they didn't get it when they got in. Or they told them it was going to be a certain type of way and it wasn't that way. Don't get your hopes up. Don't let them promise you anything. Let it be in black and white. The military is about black and white. If it's not on that paper, you probably not gonna get it. That's just being honest. So that's that. Try to go with someone, and also I would try to say when you take your ASVAB and you get a good score, decent score, whatever, and you have a particular job that you want, wait for that job. Do not rush to go into something that you do not know a lot about. Do not do that, because you will absolutely potentially regret it and you're going to want to change your job. And that's a lot harder than you think it could be, depending on your situation. Now, everybody's situation is different. There are certain times where you have to leave early. You're in a different life situation, and that's understandable. It is what it is. You know, you pick what you pick and you go on about your business. But if you are not in a rush, do not rush your life like that. You will regret the job that you pick if you pick a bad job and you don't wind up liking it. Just being honest. Me personally, I don't wish I would have picked a different job, but I do, only because your girl don't like being outside like that. I do not. However, I appreciated my job because my job is the type of job where you can go anywhere in the world. I have traveled to so many different places, met so many people, so many awesome people, and it has just been an awesome experience with my job. I just don't like being outside. That's just me. However, pick your job accordingly to you, what you like, your strengths, and let that be it. Don't let nobody change your mind. Don't let nobody discourage you. Pick the job that you want to pick. That's that. Now, when it comes down to basic training in AIT, basic training is a doozy. In the Army, at least, a lot of people say easy. A lot of people say it's not so easy. I would say for me, I never really went through rigorous body stress like that. So it really was not that easy. And I played sports, did ballet and dancing and soccer a majority of my life. And I still was not used to those certain type of conditions. Also, quick thing, I'm from Florida, right? I'm from Jacksonville, Florida like that. We do not have hills. We don't have snow. It can be Christmas and it can be 95 degrees outside. Take that in accountability, because when I went to basic training, I went and there was a blizzard. And I was culture shocked. And I've seen snow before, but I'm not used to running 2 miles and it's snowing outside. I wasn't used to rucking 15 miles and it's snowing outside. It's black ice. I had no idea what that was. Just think about that. Terrain and climate and all those good things. Just prepare yourself for to not be in a climate that you are used to. I completely forgot about that when I joined, and I was like, what did I sign up for? Just think about that. Yeah, but when it comes to basic training, to me it was a little bit more rigorous because the body stress that you put yourself under, and on top of that, you're in a bay with a bunch of other females, for my females and males too, but you're in a bay with a bunch of other females, and some people had a period and some people didn't have a period. And then you know how science works when all your periods link up and stuff. It was just weird. And that whole time, did I have a period? I don't think I did. I didn't have a period that whole time. And it was so weird. It was just odd. And your body has to go through a lot. And I remember I rucked like 15 miles and I bled through my first pair of boots. And I had horrible bad blisters for the first time in my life. Just prepare, just mentally prepare. Look at videos on YouTube of what basic training entails. And just mentally prepare yourself for the worst. The absolute worst. Like, all in all, I love basic training. It taught me a lot about discipline, but I would never do it again. I mean, if I did, it would be easier, but I would never do it again. Absolutely not me. But yeah, just think about that. Think about the stress that you're gonna put your body under. Some people didn't make it out of basic training. Some people blew out their knees. A big thing with females is that our body is not fully developed like young females, and a lot of things happen with our hips. A lot of girls get hip fractures and they're 17, 18, 19, early 20s, sometimes in their 30s, they just never had kids. And, you know, they have to get medically discharged and sent back home because they hurt their hip. Take that into account because it happens. And no one ever told me that when I joined either. And I actually did have a hip fracture, but I still pushed through and I'm a lot better now. But some people couldn't do that, unfortunately. So take that into account as well. For my males, every basic training is not going to have females. I did not know this until I got to, after basic training in AIT and I got to my units and I talked to other males, a lot of them said that they did not go to basic training with females. They went to basic training with just straight males. I think one of those stations are Fort Gordon, I think. Don't quote me on it. But yeah, and a lot of males hated it. And it's not for you to hate. You don't need to see a female. You're going there to join the military, okay? But just know that you won't always be around females. The most females you're gonna see is probably a drill sergeant. She's not gonna be nice to you at all. Another thing to take into account is when you're in basic training, you're not spending any money unless you have kids or a house or cell phone bill. You're really not using a cell phone. And your money's just gonna be stacking. My biggest advice would to be anybody in any basic training, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, doesn't matter. Save that money. A lot of people, as soon as they get out, they just wanna blow it. What are you doing that for? Save your money. Like, if you don't have kids or a house or something to pay, save your money. Like, it's not that serious. It's really not. Now going into AIT, speaking of saving money, the reason why I say they blow it is because when they go to AIT, which is your MOS school, aka / your job school, they blow it on the most random things like clothes and food as a, they just blow it on stuff. Just save your money, people. You're gonna need your money. AIT was a lot of fun for me. It was a lot of fun. I went to Fort Lee. And I loved it. I loved the environment. I was PG. It was a lot of people. I feel like what made my experience so well is because my instructor, my platoon sergeant, and my actual platoon itself, which had over like 75 people in it, which is crazy. We didn't get in trouble or anything like that, which is odd. But we didn't, because a lot of people wanted to leave out posts and they wanted to do their own thing. But everybody was just awesome. Everybody was amazing. I absolutely adored my instructors, my civilian instructor and my military instructor. They were amazing. They taught the curriculum very well. They made it fun. They made it interesting. And I went during a time where it wasn't just all taught in a book. Now when you go to AIT, a lot of it is taught on a computer in a portal, and you have on headphones and you're at this computer and you're probably gonna fall asleep because it's so quiet and you're just clicking and looking at the curriculum and it's boring. But my instructor, made it to where we were doing both. We were very interactive and we were also on a computer. And this was back in 2016. So if it was like that then, talking to everybody else is like that now. So just keep in mind, it's not going to be all one-on-one. You will have to be on a computer. So if you're not a good learner like that, you might want to voice that and they will absolutely help you. But a lot of times we had to go outside, be hands-on. Our civilian instructor, she was just as amazing. She knew everything like the back of her hand, and they just helped you. Like, my experience was really good. Now, what I will say for AIT is that it's a lot more lax than basic training. It's still a TRADOC environment. However, on the weekends, you can wear civilian clothes. You can go to the mall. You can, you know, depending on the area that you're in, go to the mall, go to the movies, you know, all that good stuff. You have a little bit more free reign, and it could be a good time if you know, you do everything correctly. Don't get in trouble. Don't spend all your money. If I can get all the money back I got on cabs and AIT, just saying. Just know what you're spending your money on, people. Just know what you're spending your money on. Now I'm going to go into promotions. What makes the Army different from everyone else, in my personal opinion, is promotions. So promotion systems work in accordance like this. Say if you are a specialist, and which is an E4, and you're trying to get promoted to E5, which is a sergeant, you have to go through a list of things, which is your P status. You have to acquire your P status to be able to move to the next rank. So how do you get that? You go to a board, you put in a packet, you go to a board. More than likely you're wearing your dress blues, and you know, you sit in front of a panel of people, which are probably all first sergeants and sergeant major. They ask you a bunch of questions that you have to study for. You will have a study guide, and you know, probably recite the NCO creed, different things. It depends on what your unit is and where your unit is, depending on what questions they will ask you. When I got my P status, I was overseas, so a lot of it was from our overseas guy, like who was the command sergeant major over here, and you know, different stuff like that. Other than the obvious like regulations, what would you do in situational questions, stuff like that. So once you pass the board and you get your P status, which you will find out the day of, more than likely, that's number one. You get your P status. 2, you have to go to a school. All enlisted people, majority, have to go to some type of school when you're going from specialist to sergeant, sergeant to sergeant to E6, staff sergeant, and from staff sergeant to sergeant first class, sergeant majors, all of that, you have to go to a certain type of school. Now going from E4 to E5, you have to go to a school called BLC, Basic Leaders Course. And that school is approximately about a month long. Right now, because of COVID, it's online. But yeah, you do all sorts of things. From what I've heard, majority of times, it's a lot of essays and just training you how to be a better leader. That's all that it is. And once you graduate that course, it kind of goes on to points at that point. Now points. Points to me, it makes sense in the military, but it doesn't make sense, especially for the Army, because everyone's points differs on your job. So for somebody else, like you can go into basic AIT, come in at the same time as somebody else, and they can easily get promoted way faster than you can, because their points might be 838 and your points might be at 700. That's a very big gap. However, it's certain things that make up your points. Points are made up of your PT test, of awards, college courses, shooting your weapon, and online military classes. They're made up of a certain amount of things, but a lot of people drag their promotion, or a lot of people question like, oh, why aren't you promoted yet? Not knowing what their points are. It's not impossible. It is not impossible. However, it is harder to get to certain points than other people who have lower points, if that makes sense. So yeah, but points school, and your P status are the main 3 things that you need to get promoted. Now, in any other branch, majority of the time, you have to take a test on your job to get promoted. Yes, and I know a lot of people in the Navy, especially, honestly, and the Air Force, who they could not pass their test for whatever reason, and they have come to the Army. Or, what's another reason? Becoming an officer, or certain things like that. It's just, it differs, but for the most part, it is promotion. Now, I will say I'm enlisted, but if you're trying to be an officer, that's a whole different route. That's a whole different video. We're just talking about enlisted right now. I can do a whole different separate video on that, but officer is a whole different realm. If you're trying to come in to be an officer, you have to see a whole different type of recruiter. You already have to have a degree, or you're going to be in ROTC, or you can be enlisted to become an officer. It's different ways that you can do it. But officer is a completely different realm. But what I will say is that the military has been the best decision of my life. One of the best decisions of my life. It changed me as a person. It just completely changed my outlook on life. Traveling to numerous and different places, living in different cultures. I love it, and it's some days that are very hard. It's very hard. The military is not hard. Dealing with people, that's hard. Dealing with different people from different backgrounds and different cultures, and you guys are raised different, and you know, somebody might outrank you or whatever the case may be. Dealing with people is the difficult part of any job, not just the military. And it's been fairly interesting. It's been really interesting. Do I personally plan on doing 20? No. Unless I become like a military doctor or something like that. But me personally, I do not plan on doing 20. Does that mean that you shouldn't do 20? You could be the next sergeant major, whoever's watching. That could be you. But it's different for everyone. People have their own reasons. Whatever reason you have for joining, it's okay. Don't let nobody, discourage you and say that's not a real reason or you shouldn't be doing that. No. And for all my newcomers that are in actually already and they're just watching this video for whatever reason, what I will say to you is good luck. Do not let people discourage you. Do not let your first duty station determine how you see the entire Army. Do not do that. I almost did that. I almost got out because my first duty station, I absolutely hated it. Not the place, but the people. The people made it very bad. And I almost deterred for going to one of the best units the Army will ever have. And if I would have got out, I would have never experienced that life. I would have never met the people that I met, and I met amazing lifelong friends. And just don't let one unit deter you away from how the whole Army is. And do not let bad leadership deter you away from what you are really trying to do. I don't care if you're trying to do BSEP. I don't care if you're trying to switch your MOS. I don't care if you're trying to switch branches. Do not let leadership deter you away from what you're really trying to do. Do not do that. Be strong. You'll be okay. God put you here for a reason, and you'll get through it. But for everybody else that is not in the military and they are trying to acquire to be in the military, if you have any questions, just leave them down below. I will be happy to answer. This is going to be a complete series from regulations about hair, for people. I'm going to probably invite other people from different branches because I have a lot of other friends that are in different branches and family members, and they could probably give advice on certain things. I'm probably going to do just a strictly informational video where I actually look up just facts about different branches if you guys want to know about that. But for the most part, the Army is where I am. The Army has amazing opportunities that you can get that you cannot get in any other branch. I found a lot of that out too. And some other branches have a bunch of other things that suit to you. It's whatever is for you. It's whatever suits you, whatever suits you personally, for your family, for your financial needs. It doesn't matter. But thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, ring the bell, give a big thumbs up, and I will catch you guys later.